And now I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So you should be able to see, it says how to lose your cravings day 1. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Awesome. We are in the right spot. Okay. Well, welcome. It is day 1 of the How to Lose Your Cravings virtual workshop. So I just want to say welcome. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and really by signing up for this workshop and listening to what I have to say, but we're also going to be doing some work along the way. So you are going to be putting in some work. But just by signing up and having that intention, you've already made a change to your relationship to food, right? So during this 5-day virtual workshop, I'll be sharing with you tools and strategies to help you look at food differently so you can lose your cravings and not feel out of control around food. Okay, so that is the big goal, right? Because a lot of times when we have cravings, we feel out of control around food. Um, And really, these tools and strategies are going to help you recognize your own thoughts about food and if they're serving you and if they're giving you the results you want in your life. And if they're not, like, how do I change my thinking about food? How do I change thinking about like these foods that I've craved for so long? How do I change my thinking around that? So how do I get to the next slide? Right there. Okay. So I know that I know you guys, but for anybody watching the replay, for those of you who do not know me, I am Kisa Amaro. I'm a certified health coach, and I help women get control of their emotional eating so they can really maintain a healthy weight, and really feel good in their body without that feeling of deprivation or having to follow a really complicated meal plan. And I am now a certified yoga instructor. I've been recently, this last year, I've been working on my 200-hour certification. It's been a process, it's been a challenge, but it's been so much fun. And this last weekend, I got my email confirmation that I passed I don't say my final test, my final assignment.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Thank you. Um, so yeah, if you're joining me, you're most likely struggling with your cravings and feeling out of control around food, especially foods like ice cream, cookies, chips, popcorn. It's like those really salty and sweet foods or high fatty foods. And you probably feel guilt around eating these foods. So more often than not, diet programs and weight loss programs, they only address really like what we put into our mouth, right? And this is all good, right? We want to eat healthy, want to be able to fuel our body with food that feels good and gives us energy. But this is only part of the whole picture when really getting rid of your cravings and maintaining a sustainable weight for good, right? So what is the missing piece to losing our cravings? It's like, why hasn't it worked in the past? Why have I tried these meal plans or diet programs, but I find myself returning to eating all the ice cream or munching on pretzels after work every day or drinking wine after from dinner until late into the evening, right? So there is a whole other component that the diet and weight loss industry doesn't cover, right? They just don't talk about it. Okay. And this is our thoughts about food and our emotional connection to food. So it's really like our mindset around food and our mindset around our body as well. So when you find yourself with ravenous cravings, when you really aren't hungry, like I'm physically not hungry, but I really have a huge, strong desire for something salty. This stems from a feeling of over desire for food. I have this really strong desire for salty pretzels, like they're salty and crunchy, and I just really want them. Um, so you can tell me like I can follow like the best meal plan, right? I can eat my kale, I can eat my greens, I can have my protein. But when there's like fresh baked cinnamon rolls or a nice bowl of ice cream in front, like just sitting in front of me, my meal plan is not going to save me, right? My meal plan is not going to teach me how to not eat the ice cream or how to not have the cinnamon roll, right? The meal plan and like choosing food that nourishes our body it does have a place in creating a healthy relationship with food. But it's also, we have to look at our mindset. We have to look at the way we think about food in order to change our actions around food. So how do we tame the cravings? How do we be around our favorite off-limit foods and feel peace or indifference about it? So, if you would like, you can share, like, what is your favorite, whether you want to think of it as like a snack food or a craving food or something you maybe indulge in a little bit too much, what would that be for you?
Pretzels and popcorn.
Pretzels and popcorn, nice.
And chips. Anything crunchy and salty.
Crunchy and salty, awesome.
Probably cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers, okay. So probably having like that texture. There's the fat with the cheese, and cheese is salty too. Like we don't realize it, but cheese has like there's definitely a salty flavor to it. And then the textures, almost like these different textures of like the kind of creamy, chewy cheese, and then the crunchy cracker. It's like these different textures that we get all in once, right? So this is what we're going to work on this week, is to like, how do we tame our cravings? How do we understand and manage our cravings? And this is really going to be through mindset tools, right? So during this workshop, you're going to learn the root cause of your cravings, why you don't need more self-control in order to reduce your cravings. It's not about self-control. It's not about willpower. You're going to learn how to feel in control around your cravings and how to better manage them. You're going to feel confident in your food choices. How to let go of this idea of good foods and bad foods, right? Because we have this belief that there's some foods that are good and there's some foods that are bad and it's not serving us. You're going to learn how to no longer blame yourself for giving into your cravings and overeating, which is a big thing for many of us. We feel guilt and shame for overeating. When we do give into our cravings, afterwards, we feel very guilty for it. Like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that again? And also, you're going to feel confident in how to manage your cravings. So before we get started with day one, I want to clear up some expectations of this workshop. And I was kind of sharing with Cindy and Sharon before we started recording as to, like, I used to do challenges, but I'm morphing them into more of a workshop. So educating and learning, because this is not a weight loss challenge, right? You're not here to like lose 5 pounds this week. That's not what it is, right? You are here to explore your cravings, to better understand where they're coming from, and learn tools to help you manage and reduce them. So I want you to take in the information that I share with you each day and do the action steps. So I'm going to give you some action steps to do each day. And this will help you understand why you have cravings, and therefore you will be able to take action steps to reduce your cravings without feeling deprived. So I want you to concentrate on the process and not the end result. Don't worry about the end result. Just go one day at a time, do the work, and you'll start to feel the difference. Okay. And really, I do want to recognize that this is a difficult process, and you have probably tried so many times to stop giving into your cravings, right? Hundreds of thousands of times. I'm not going to eat the pretzels today, or I'm not going to have the cheese and crackers. I'm just going to say no, right? And then that specific time of the day comes around and you find yourself eating the food you said you were not going to eat, okay? So I know that this is difficult, And I will reiterate this throughout the 5 days, but we need to have curiosity and compassion for ourselves through this process, right? There's no room for put downs here. There's no room for shame. There's no room for guilt. We're not here to judge ourselves, right? We're here to be curious and find out, like, okay, well, what's going on? I wonder why I keep eating pretzels at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or I wonder why I keep eating cheese and crackers every time I walk through the kitchen. Right? So there's no room for put downs. I want you to bring out curiosity through this process. Okay. So with that being said, let's get started with day 1. I do suggest that you have something to take notes, whether that is your phone, a piece of paper, a Post-it, a notebook. Okay, so day 1, I titled it Your Brain on Food. And I kind of laughed when I titled it this because it brought me back to, what was it, like is it the 80s? Drug, like anti-drug commercials, like this is your brain on drugs, and it's like somebody frying an egg, right?
Right.
So I'm like, your brain on food. So I'm not saying that your like food is a drug by any means. We're not going there. But that's just kind of like what popped into my head was like the whole egg in a frying pan. Okay, so let's take a look at what is going on in your head. Okay, we got thoughts, and we have thousands of thoughts, up to 60,000 thoughts in just one day. Isn't that crazy to think that we have 60,000 thoughts going through our head in just one day? Your brain is busy, right? Our brain is very busy. And some of these thoughts are conscious and we are aware of them, but some of them are unconscious, meaning we have thought them over and over and over and over so many times that our brain delegates it to our lower brain or our subconscious, like brushing our teeth. We don't have to think about, okay, now I need to move my hand back and forth, and now I need to like get this tooth and then this tooth and this. We kind of just like, we've done it so many times, we can like brush our teeth and then we can, I don't know if anybody multitasks while they brush their teeth, but it's like a no-brainer. Brushing your teeth is a no-brainer. So easy. Okay. So we have lots and lots of thoughts. And I like to think of our brain that if we leave our brain unsupervised, meaning we just let our thoughts take over, it is like letting a toddler run around with a knife, right? That's a scary thing. It's a little toddler like, I got a knife. Like they don't understand the severity of that, right? They're like, ah, cool. Look at this. Look at this shiny thing I found. So we are going to learn to manage and supervise our minds, and especially around food. Now, the cool thing about this tool that I'm going to be introducing to you this week is it can be used in any circumstance. It can be used in any area of your life, not just cravings, but it can be used in a relationship. Like if you have situation like a difficulty with a relationship, if you have difficulty with finances, if you have difficulty with maybe your body image, right? You can use this in any situation. Okay, so the most important tool you have when it comes to changing behavior and reducing your cravings is your thinking, right? And I am speaking correctly. It is your thinking. Many people want to go directly to our actions, right? Or their actions. So for example, people usually change their food when wanting to lose weight or get rid of their cravings, right? It's like, oh, I can't stop eating ice cream. Therefore, I restrict ice cream, I restrict sugar, I restrict all like these like bad foods. And then I think that I won't eat them and I won't give in to my cravings will just go away. I can lose weight, right? So we go to the action part. Now, this is only a temporary fix. I like to think of it as a Band-Aid on what is really a much deeper issue. Okay. So let's see how our thoughts affect our cravings. And we want to get to the root of your cravings. So your thoughts create your feelings. Okay. Now, this is very, I'll say very important, but very integral to the tool that I'm going to be teaching to you today. So your thoughts create your feelings. So I like to say, like, these thoughts going through our head create a feeling. Like, we like to think of feeling as like the heart, like that. But feelings are literally just vibrations in our body. It's a chemical reaction in our body. Okay. So your thoughts create your feelings, and your habitual thoughts create your cravings and your over desire for food. So these thoughts that we think over and over again, like, ice cream will make me feel good. Ice cream will make me feel good. Ice cream will make me feel good. Right? If I think that over and over and over and over again, when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, like maybe I'm frustrated or I had a stressful day at work, I'm going to go to the ice cream because I believe ice cream will make me feel good. Okay. And your feelings cause you to give in to your cravings and overeat. So it's this feeling of desire. It could be a feeling of deprivation, right? Usually there's some sort of desire or deprivation in there. So now if you permanently or want to permanently change your desire for a certain food, you have to become aware of what you're currently thinking about it, right? And then change your thinking to thoughts that reduce the desire and craving. Okay, so for example, if you think that you deserve to eat sweets because you worked out really hard, right? I know I used to do this. I'm like, oh, I'll work out really hard and then I can have ice cream, right? Because I worked out so hard. Or I deserve it. Like, I worked out so hard. I deserve this, right? So I deserve to eat sweets because I worked out really hard. Okay. This will give you the desire to eat sweets because you're thinking, I deserve this. I deserve to eat sweets. And so you have the desire to eat sweets. And you might not even realize that you have this thought as a part of a larger mindset about eating. Okay. So, like I said, some of them are conscious, some of them are unconscious. That's okay. We'll figure that out. Okay, so when you recognize that this thought is creating your desire to overeat, you can decide if you want to change it. Like, okay, I recognize that me feeling like I deserve sweets because I worked out really hard is not serving me. This thought is not serving me. And so I can choose to change it. So you might change the thought to something like, I work out to reduce my stress. Like, why do I work out? I work out to reduce my stress and to be healthy. I know I feel good afterwards. And I eat food that fuels my workouts so I can perform better, have energy, and feel better. Right? How do you feel now? Is that thought create a craving for sweet foods? No. Right? It has nothing to do with food. Well, it does have to do with food, but it doesn't have anything to do with sweets, right? It's like how I feel my body for my exercise. Okay, so I want to share this model with you. This is a model that I learned from my coach, Brooke Castillo, that demonstrates how our thinking works. So she created this. She is the mastermind behind this thought process or this model. So our circumstances are just facts of our lives. They are truths. I like to think they can be held. Oh my gosh, what is the phrase? They'll uphold in a court of law, right? They're factual, right? You can take it to court. Okay, so we have our circumstances and they trigger us. Like, so we have something happens in our life and they trigger us to have thoughts. Our thoughts are just those sentences in our minds. Sometimes we say them out loud, but a lot of times they're just going through our head. And our thoughts create our feelings. And those feelings are just vibrations in our body. Like I said before, when we have a feeling or an emotion, I use those two terms interchangeably. It is a chemical release or a hormonal release in our body. And I like to give the example of like excitement. I think of like, okay, going on a roller coaster. Like you're standing in line to go on a roller coaster or like kind of a scary ride. And it's like that, like, okay, I'm a little nervous, maybe I'm excited, I'm nervous, and you can feel it in your stomach, right? Like you can feel that. Like that is the emotion. It's what we feel in our body. And then our feelings or emotions drive our actions or inactions, right? So we have that feeling of like excitement. Our excitement is going to probably want us to go on that ride versus if we had anxiety, and we're like, oh my God, I'm going to die, we would probably not go on that ride, right? We'd be like, no, thank you. I'm good. Or that is just going to feel really horrible in my body. I went on, was it Superman? Is a Superman ride at
Go
six.
forward, head
It's
down.
like, yeah, it goes forward and then up. That's all it
Oh,
does.
yeah.
And it just like, oh my gosh, like we were up here and my stomach was back here. And I'm like, okay, never again. Like I've experienced that, never again. So if I was in line for that, or even if I saw that ride, I would just be like, nope, nope.
Hmm.
And that's all because of that past experience. So that those thoughts about that past experience, which creates anxiety. And then I'm like, no, thank you. Okay. And then our actions or inactions create the results that we get in our life. Okay. And this is usually like, do I reach my goal? Do I not reach my goal? Do I overeat? Do I not overeat? Do I go work out? Do I sit on the couch? Do I get work done at work, or do I procrastinate and sit on social media? It's any result that we get. So if you want your results to be different, you need to change your thinking. Okay. If you want your results to be different, you need to change your thinking. We're not going to change the action, because if we change our thinking, we will therefore change our actions in the appropriate manner and in the appropriate way. So I'm going to give you an example, because I know that this tool, and like today, we're kind of spending most of the day on this tool. I will have you do one yourself, but it is, and we'll go into more depth, but this is just kind of the introduction of this tool today. So let's look at an example, and it's not pertaining to food or cravings, right? Because that's kind of like where we can get a really good understanding. So the circumstance, it's 55 degrees out and raining right now. Like right now, I can look outside, I can see the rain falling down, and I can see the thermometer says 55 degrees. Okay. Our thought, I don't want to walk in the rain. This is going to be miserable. Okay. When I think that, it creates a feeling of annoyed, right? I'm annoyed. Ugh, I hate the rain. And then my action is, okay, I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to wait for better. I'm like, oh, it'll be better later. It's going to clear up. I bet it'll clear up. Right. So I wait for better weather. I procrastinate. I talk myself out of the walk. And the result is I don't follow through with my plan. I let myself down, right? Because I didn't do what I was going to say, and I don't meet my step goal. So see how your thought about the weather affected your feelings and actions around walking, right? It wasn't the weather itself, because a lot of times we want to blame it on the weather. We're like, oh, it was raining, I didn't go outside for my walk, right? It's not the rain. It is our thoughts about the rain. Okay. So what if we looked at it like this? Circumstance is the same. It's still 55 degrees and it's raining outside right now. thought, I better grab a raincoat and an umbrella to help me stay dry for my walk. My feeling, I feel prepared. My action is I get out for a walk at the scheduled time. My result is I meet my step goal. I feel good about myself. I've met my goals. I build evidence that I follow through on what I say I'm going to do. Right? That's key too. It's like when I say I'm going to do something and I follow through, that is building evidence and that is building confidence in yourself. Okay. So, any questions about this so far, about this tool?
Works with family.
What'd you say?
Works with family.
Okay. Works with family. Yes, it does, right? Can work in any situation. Okay. So now it is your turn. I'm going to help walk you through this. So I want you to complete a model starting with your thought. We're not going to worry about the circumstance right now. Sorry. Okay. I want you to choose one thought that you have about food you crave. Okay. So you can take a moment to write it down. I'll just give you an example. I can't eat sweets because it will make me gain weight. That was a thought I used to have. I can't eat sweets because it'll make me gain weight. I could insert, I can't eat ice cream because it'll make me gain weight. I can't eat cookies because it'll make me gain weight. I can't eat brownies. Okay, so choose one thought that you have about a food you crave. Maybe it's something like, this will make me feel better, right? Because oftentimes we think food will make us feel better. This will fix this. Pretzels will fix my problem. Pretzels will make me feel better. Oh, just one bite. I'll just have one bite. Right? That's a good one. So go ahead and choose one thought you have about food that you crave. Okay. So once you have your thought, what feeling does this thought create? Okay. So now when we talk about feelings, feelings can kind of be a little ambiguous. I don't know what is the word. We're not very versed on emotions in our society. We don't really grow up with a class titled emotional intelligence. So an emotion is a one-word descriptor. Okay. So what you can do is, I have one printed out here, but you can Google a feelings list. This is a feelings wheel. You can just Google it, feelings list, emotions list, and find one that works for you. But it's going to have a list of a bunch of different emotions. I mean, guilty, ashamed, hurt, hostile, anger, rage, rejected, confused, helpless, weak, foolish, embarrassed, daring, fascinating, energetic, playful, creative, aware, proud, respected, appreciated. Okay. That's a ton of emotions that we don't really grow up recognizing in ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So what feeling does this thought create? And if you're having a hard time thinking of the feeling, Google an emotions list, feelings list, and find something that works for you. I have this wheel I really like. It's helpful for me because it kind of starts like, the inside is like mad, scared, joyful, powerful, peaceful, and sad. Those are kind of ones we're a little more familiar with. You're like, okay, I definitely feeling like maybe mad, right? So, and then there's more in that category. And so it can get a little bit more detailed. Okay. So once you have your feeling, what action do you take when you feel this way? Okay. So for me, I had the thought I can't eat sweets because it'll make me gain weight. The feeling I have is deprived. I feel deprived. What action do you take when you feel this way? I crave sweets. I think about sweets. I eat sweets. I binge on sweets, right? It consumes me. So, what actions do you take? And remember, actions can be an action or an inaction. So, something you do or something you don't do. Like if we have fear, sometimes we don't do things because of fear. We're feeling fear. And so we don't do the thing we say we're going to do, like go to the gym for the first time. I'm scared to go to the gym because what will people think of me? I don't even know what to do at the gym, right? And so we don't go because we have that fear. So, what action do you take? And then number 4, what are the results you have in your life when you take these actions? What are the results you have in your life when you take these actions? Okay. So for me, in my example, it would be craving sweets and overeating sweets. Okay, so now I want to open the floor. If you would like to share what you wrote down, you can. You do not have to, but this is a space. If you would like to share, you're more than welcome to. And just a reminder that you're here to grow and discover why you are craving the foods you're craving. And this tool right here is going to help you figure that out. Okay. And I want to remind you to have compassion for yourself through this process. Okay. No judgment here. No put downs to yourself. So if you would like to share, I'll open the floor to that now. You can just unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah. Did I actually mute myself?
Mhm.
For me, crunching on pretzels will help me de-stress from work. That's my thought about pretzels.
I like
and
that.
that, and when that does, it's usually a sign that I'm angry or annoyed with somebody at work.
Okay.
It's stupid people. So initially, that crunch, it's kind of like a powerful thing. It's like I'm chewing through the people that are annoying me.
Okay.
So it's like I'm taking them out on my way, at least in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, then I'm mad at myself because I went and ate the pretzels instead of doing something different. Yeah, I get to
Right.
a point where it's like, okay, this is how I can manage it. And then every once in a while, it comes in waves. It's like, so.
Okay. So you feel good about managing your cravings most of the time, but every so often they'll come up and you just give in to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So in those times that you give in, like the best thing and like one of the best things you can do is just notice what's going on for you. Like in that moment when you're eating the pretzels, like just notice what's going on for you. Just be aware, like, okay, what am I thinking? I hate this person. This person really annoyed me at work. Crunch, 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 right? Like, I'm so stressed. Crunch, 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 crunch. And it's so interesting because we think that like that crunching and that gnawing will kind of like gnaw away at that stress almost. It's like if I just eat this food, I can eat through this stress. But what
Yeah.
are we left with?
Still have the stress. And then I add on to the stress because then I'm mad at myself.
Yeah.
So,
So I have stress and then I'm mad at myself because I overate,
it's
right?
like, you should know better by now.
It's okay. Like, and for those of you listening on the replay, Cindy, I've been working with Cindy through Create My Weight. And so she has gone through the Create My Weight program, and we've done a lot of mindset work and working on her emotional eating. And so really just knowing that, yes, there's some people who can just like turn off the switch of emotional eating. That's not me. And that's not a majority of people out there. So just knowing and having these tools and strategies to help support you through this process is what we really want. We don't necessarily want to like, oh, I just never want to eat emotionally again. That would be amazing and wonderful and all, but that's not really realistic, right? Can we reduce it? Yes. Can we minimize the guilt and shame around it? Yes. Can we open up to curiosity and compassion around it? Yes. Can I allow my emotions to be there? Yes. But knowing that it's not going to just go away, right? It's going to be there, and that's okay. And so when those times when you do end up eating the pretzels or the popcorn, just really be present with yourself. Be curious of what's going on. What am I thinking? What's going on in my body? Why am I don't say why am I doing this, but like, I wonder why I'm doing this. Like, why is that? Right? From that place of curiosity and compassion. Okay.
Okay, I have my list.
Okay.
So my thought, I just need a little snack to hold me over till dinner.
Okay.
And my feeling, oh, I get happy or excited. I'm going to have something to eat. My action is I eat, but the result is that I usually eat a little bit more than I need to. So then I'm not as hungry as I should be at dinner, but yet I still eat what I would normally eat at dinner.
Okay. So you end up eating more, essentially, is what's going on.
More than I need, yes.
Yeah, more than you need physically. Okay. So in this situation, when you have that initial thought, I need a snack to tide me over for dinner, I would invite you to really get curious about your physical hunger. Okay. Am I physically hungry, or is this an emotional hunger in the sense that like food makes me happy, it'll make me feel better, it'll just give me a little jolt until dinner, right? I just need a little energy, right? Or am I truly physically hungry? Like, do I feel it in my stomach? Do I feel it maybe am I lightheaded? And then finding out, where am I? Like, how hungry am I? And just once again, getting curious. How hungry, if I'm physically hungry, how hungry am I? How long till dinner? Can I have some water to tide me over?
Mm.
And then also, this is an interesting thing, is just like our thoughts around hunger itself and physical hunger. And sometimes we're scared of physical hunger. Like, we don't want to feel that hunger, right? That physical hunger. And just get curious, like, I wonder if I'm scared to feel hungry. I wonder if I don't want to feel physical hunger. And why is that?
Okay.
Okay. And so, Sharon, I want you to keep this model, your thought, feeling, action, and result. And we'll work with this throughout the week and how we can shift our thought to create a different thought, feeling, and action. Okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, my friends, this is pretty much all I have for you today. It was just introducing this tool that we're going to be working with throughout the week, and really understanding that The root of our cravings is our thoughts around the food. It's not the food itself, right? It is our thoughts around the food. And oftentimes we think it's the food. We see the brownie and we're like, I just can't stay away from the brownie. Why are there brownies here? Who brought the brownies? Oh my gosh, I'm going to kill you. Why'd you bring the brownies? Right? Right? It's not the brownies. It's our thoughts around the brownies. Because there's people out there who don't like brownies. Believe it or not, there's people who don't like brownies. I don't know who they are, but they don't like brownies.
None of my friends.
No. But really, there are people who don't like brownies, or they would prefer maybe something savory versus something sweet, right? So it's not about the food. It's about our thoughts about the food. So I want to open up to any questions that you might have, or if you'd like to share a takeaway from today's talk.
So these things never really go away. You knew I was going to go back there.
I mean, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer and just be like, oh, you're going to have cravings for the rest of your life. Like, I don't want it to be like that. But I think as long as you have the tools, and the more you implement the tools and the more you practice, right? You're learning a new skill. And the more you practice the skill, the better you get. And then the less frequent the cravings will be, and maybe the less intense. And even you'll eat less pretzels, right? Like, say I decide to have pretzels, instead of grabbing the whole bag and eating out of the bag, I might put just a little handful into a bowl and have that and be good, right? That's a win too, right? And just knowing that, I mean, truthfully, there's no reason to be perfect at it. Like, we don't need to be perfect with our food. We don't need to be perfect with our eating, because that's just not the reality of life. Right. And so understanding, like, yeah, I'm gonna have these emotional eating cravings to eat pretzels when I'm stressed or mad at somebody. And that's okay, right? I'm learning a new tool. I'm learning a new skill. I'm learning to allow my emotions to be here. I'm learning to sit with my frustration. And the more I practice, the less intense the emotion is, the less intense the craving is, the fewer and further between they become, and the more kind of confident I get at, like, yes, I can sit and allow this frustration. But then there might be times when you're like, no, I'm going to have these pretzels. I don't want to feel frustrated. I'm going to eat these pretzels today. And that's okay. Right? Just know that that's okay.
No, it's much less frequent.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Any other questions? Sharon says no. Okay. Awesome. Well, like I said, this is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself. Even if you're watching the replay, you're showing up for yourself, watching the replay, doing the work. And join me same time, same place for day 2, where we're going to be looking at your thoughts about food. So we're going to get really deep into your thoughts about your craving foods, and how we're going to see how they're really affecting you and your emotions or feelings towards food and your actions towards food. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yes. It was nice to see you both again.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, nice to see everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Oh, and right. Oh my gosh, happy birthday, Cindy. I totally forgot to announce it. Oh. It's Cindy's birthday today. She went ziplining for her birthday.
Happy birthday. That's cool.
Thank you.
What's the hat say?
Oh, it's a Disney hat.
Oh, fun.
Nice. Okay. All right. See you guys tomorrow.
See you later.